Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Raptor here with Good Clean Gaming RX, and today we are back in Eco on the Dadspeed server. Today I wanted to briefly cover, or at least on the surface, cover the topics of inflation and deflation in a large world economy like this. There's been quite a bit of debate about whether it's actually occurring, whether it's not occurring, what it means, various different things like that. And today I wanted to shed a little bit of light on that. Before we do that, let me go ahead and remind you to hit that like and subscribe button if you have not already. And if you have already hit that subscribe button and you find these videos to be useful or informative, go ahead and share them with someone who you think would enjoy them, someone else who would benefit from their content. Okay, so there are two, I guess, different definitions of inflation, and that's kind of what has been causing the conflict or the argument on the server about whether it's actually happening or not. So inflation and deflation is a change in the price of goods over time. So if we look at for instance the price of rocks on the server or mortared stone. When the server originally started, I think mortared stone went for somewhere around 2 shillings or so. And that was just because, you know, people were, it was a little bit more expensive to actually get the rock pulled out of the ground. The mortar and all that's required to make them was a little bit more expensive on the open market. People didn't have as efficient ways of manufacturing things, so on and so forth. And so it was more expensive to make and sell mortar and the other ingredients that go into mortared stone, you know, the stone itself. And so the price on those was significantly higher than it is now. We were seeing prices, like I said, around 2 shillings, 2.5 shillings a piece for mortared stone. And over time, that price has fallen and continued to fall until it's reached the point of around 0.5 shillings, so about 50 cents or so, of 0.5 shillings per mortared stone. And there's even a little bit lower prices than that on the market. Not generally. Those are kind of the outliers there. But there are a few different places where you can get it for less than that. Come on, load in. And we'll go over that in a minute. And then inflation, conversely, is an increase in the cost of goods over time. And I haven't actually seen a whole lot of that. Let's go ahead and we'll swap the coal over here. There we go. Goodness, I guess we'll have a little bit of crushed limestone extra there, won't we? Okay. So that'll go ahead and start our steel production up again. I have a mind to actually, let's just go ahead and do that. We'll make some more quick lime here. We've got 44, so should be able to make about 76 or so. 80. Make 80 of them. There we go. And we'll just do that so we can use up the rest of our. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to see if I can pull over a little graphic here and help to explain what exactly is going on here. Okay, so I've just gotten a little graphic off of the internet here and popped it into Paint. And here we have inflation versus deflation. So inflation refers to the consistent and substantial rise in price of goods and services in the economy over some time. Deflation refers to the consistent and substantial fall in prices of goods and services in an economy over some time. Okay, so inflation results in the fall of purchasing power of money in real terms. So basically, if you've got $1,000 and at the start of some term you're looking at purchasing 100 mortared stone, and it cost you it's at 50 cents per mortared stone. So with $1,000, and say you want to buy 100 of them, you're looking at 50 shillings to buy that 100 mortared stone. Now, if inflation happens, we're looking at the price of those going up, and you'll see that go from say 50 cents all the way up to a shilling. And so at that point then, when you want to purchase those 100 mortared stone, it's now going to cost you 100 shillings, and it effectively means that your purchasing power has been decreased, because that $1,000 or 1,000 shillings doesn't go as far as it used to, because the costs of the different goods has increased. And that inflation doesn't necessarily refer to just one item increasing in price. That would be more of a market readjusting itself. It has to do with the price of everything increasing or decreasing over time, in inflating or deflating. Deflation, of course, would have the opposite effect. If you're starting out and you want to buy those 100 and it's going to cost you 100 because they're at 1 shilling a piece, and then over time the price goes down, you have deflation, and it's only going to cost you say 50 cents, half a shilling. Then you're only going to use that 50 shillings, and your purchasing power is increased. Your money goes farther, essentially. Now, there are a couple of different ways that can be used to control or adjust for this. Obviously, in the real world and in eco, the different ways of doing that are different. In the real world, generally banks increase or decrease the rate of interest, and so we've seen that here in the US. After during the coronavirus pandemic, they're attempting to stabilize and cause some sort of deflation, and the interest rates on bank lending have reached, I believe, all-time lows, which has been good in the short term for some people. The problem is that generally when you have an extended period of forced deflation like that, you get massive inflation on the other side. And deflation is good in the short term for people purchasing, but the inflation is always a kicker on the other side. So for both inflation and deflation, the best measure is the Common or Consumer Price Index, which measures percentage change in prices of goods and services over a period of time. So the Consumer Price Index could be price index of the base year minus the price index of current year divided by the price index of the base year times 100. So that would basically allow you to calculate the Consumer Price Index of any good that was on the market, or any, I suppose you could do it for services as well. There are significantly less of those on eco. We'll put this in there, the credit. Got that off of a Google search, e-finance management. And so there's using those definitions, there's been a little bit of like I said, a little bit of argument over whether inflation or deflation has happened, and we've generally found it to be that prices are deflating over time, and that's simply because the price of goods has continued to drop, you know, like I said, when I first started playing, we'd have everything from you know, purchasing goods was ridiculously expensive, and we had significantly less money to actually do it. However, the amount of money in circulation, I'm being told by the people who actually know, has not changed. So I'm going to see about opening up my graph in the browser here, and we'll see if we can go over some things here quickly. Okay, so that's worked. I always test it because I've had trouble before doing it. I'm going to go ahead and pull this over. This is the eco, the other side of it, the back end, I guess, of eco, so to speak. And this is where all of the data running off the world actually resides. Let's see here if we go. There we go. This is kind of the world as it sits right now, and you can select various different actions and different things as far as things go. We're interested in the economy right here. So these are the government holdings in the default currency. So during this period, day 9, I guess, is where we actually got, or day 8 is where we actually got a world currency, it looks like. Or I suppose where a treasury was set up, and we actually started to get an increase in default currency. At one point it looks like the government had 356,000 shillings in their holdings, and then it's fallen quite a ways back down around day 37, and then just kind of slowly and steadily increased till we hit day 78, which is kind of where we're at right now. Let's see here. Then we have lifetime trade in default currency, and as you can see, there's been quite an increase. We'll take that one off. Quite an increase of that over time. And personal wealth. Oops, we'll go ahead and take that off. Personal wealth in default currency, and I guess this would just be an average. Let's see if I can. Oops. Not sure exactly what that's done. There we go. Lifetime trade. Okay, so I guess I'm trying to see if I can see personal wealth in default currency. It's not really any way of seeing that, but as you can see, day 9 we started off with 0, and then as we went up, the average, I guess, increased. And actually no, it looks like this would be the total amount held by the players. Sorry, so it's increased until we hit goodness, over 1 million shillings there at day 41, and then this has kind of slowly and steadily decreased over time. Now these are pre-made graphs. Population, there we go. This is a good way of measuring active citizen population. So it started out, you know, pretty high there. We had a decent amount of it, and then as time went on, we had more and more people drop off. You know, a few people jump in right here, and then it's kind of steadily declined again. Got tree population, citizen population, and this would just be the total number of people who've logged on to the server. I'll go ahead and take the tree population out of there because we're not really interested in that anymore. I'll take personal wealth off as well. So we've had a lot of people log in over time, but as you can see, there's been a marked decrease in the number of people who are actually sticking around. Let's see here, custom statistics, gold block mined. There we go. So this is the way that we had of actually creating currency. Is the gold was mined, taken up to the mint, and sold, and then the government actually used that to produce shillings. And then this is, I guess, just kind of a graph of how many were actually mined. So day 65 we had 483 blocks of gold, and this was then purchased at the mint money exchange for that, and you know, some or several individuals there got some of the government's gold there. Now, gold mined, and this is kind of the same as well, but this is kind of a measure of the units. These are the gold blocks. This is the actual gold that was picked up, and we kind of see the same curve there. Gold sold, we'll take that off, and we kind of see this same curve. You know, people are mining and selling it kind of consistently. They're not stockpiling it, so to speak. And then here we have rich buying. So there was a category of rich people, which I believe was over 10,000 no, over 25,000 shillings. It was set to have more than, I think it was more than 2.5% of the total money in circulation. That was instituted here at day 43. And then they also put on a couple of different laws that basically said if you're rich and you're not spending your money and you have over a certain amount, you're going to get taxed. And so there's been a little bit more of an increase in rich people buying things. And you know, basically barter trade, create currency trade, mint currency. Oop, there we go. Currency trade. So per hour. Okay, so it looks like this is kind of a measure of the amount of trading that we have. And as you can see here, we hit about day 25, and this just starts to drop off, and here we've kind of hit the leveling out point. Now, I'm not seeing exactly how we would find cost of goods over time. Let's see here, plants, player actions, economy. Yeah, there's not really any way of finding that I can see here. Those are all, like I said, let's see here, crafting, economy, barter trade. Yeah, that was never particularly high, I guess. That's interesting though that there's a spike here. Farming, finance, pay rent. Interesting. also interesting that there's been a significant drop off there for that. Let's see here, harvesting. There's really not any way of showing that, it looks like. We'll go ahead and take that off so we can see a bit better. Create currency. Yep, that would have been right there. Was that day 8 where we actually got the currency created? And then there haven't been any more created, of course. We'll go ahead and elections, scientific data. Oop, okay, so yep, and here we are back where we're at. So I'm going to have to do some investigating to see whether we can track that down. Government. Oh, interesting. So citizen activity. Okay. So here we have some pre-made ones where we're balancing certain different actions. Let's take a look at economy here. So we've got personal wealth in default currency, government holdings in default currency, lifetime trade in default currency, and mint currency. Now, these should be popping up here pretty soon, but something is not working here. Either that or it's flatlined, one or the other. Let's go ahead and pull this down to day 13. Something's not loading in here for some reason. It looks like it's having trouble loading in for some reason. Let's go ahead and we'll see if we can tweak that. Get this to load in. There we go. So various different citizen activities. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. Economy to load in. Okay, so let's see here. Try and change that up a little bit. See if we can get this to load in. Okay, so this kind of shows again the, I guess just the basic economy, personal wealth in default currency. Government holdings is down here in green. Lifetime trade has kind of jumped up here and then just remained kind of flat across. And then the mint currency is just right here. So 11 actions per hour. Okay, so we've hit kind of right here. And if we turn off, let's see here, mint currency, where are we going to find that? Player actions, economy, oh, mint currency. Is right there. Okay, so let's go ahead then and we'll turn off these. And this is basically going to show us our inflation over time, or creation of money over time. And this is kind of the debate that's been going on over the server. So there were a significant number of people who are going, oh, there's been inflation, people have been selling gold, it's been turned into currency. And as we can see here, there has been at the start here up until about day 30 or so. And then at that point, it was kind of curtailed. There was not really any more money made. Here we had day 37. There was some more injected into the economy there, but from there hasn't been any money created. So the deflation that we are seeing on the server has to do with simply the cost of goods is falling, and that's just because well, part of it will be the upgrades that have gone into circulation. People are capable of making things much more efficiently. As you can see, I've got my module on here, and I've got a 45% reduction in the number of costs that are needed, or the number of goods that are needed to actually make something. And so by doing that, that's going to lower the cost for me to make something, and in turn decrease the purchase price that I want to actually sell it. And so that causes a gradual reduction in cost for any particular item. I'll go ahead and move this over here over time. And so, you know, causes deflation because there is more money to go around essentially for any particular price of something, and so the purchasing power of the money that's in circulation is increased. We'll go ahead and jump that over, and we'll get rid of the there we go. We'll get rid of the excess that we have here of the crushed limestone. Oops. And we check here, crushed limestone buying for 0.8. And it requires 0.55 times 8. 0.8, sorry. Right. 0.55. Yep, let me go ahead and pull up my calculator here and we'll just put some quick lime on the market. Oops. Times 1.20. There we go. 52.52 shillings. 1.53, I guess. I'll go ahead and put some of that. There we go. And let's see here. Oh, goodness. 2.53. What the current price is 0.75, so I'm just going to go ahead and put mine up at 7. Just so that we don't undercut that too much. And I guess if we sell out a whole bunch of that, we'll know that we can make some more. Okay, well that's going to do it for today's video. I guess we kind of covered inflation and deflation. I guess to recap, inflation is when your purchasing power is decreased because the cost of purchasing something goes up. Deflation is when your purchasing power increases because the cost of buying something goes down. And there are several different factors that can influence that. The one that we've seen in the world is just the efficiency of manufacture has increased, which means the cost of something going into the good has also decreased. And so the price point for various different goods has gone down, meaning that the money in circulation purchases more. Oh, and there we go. I'm now a part of the active group again. I haven't really played any on here over the weekend, and so that was the reason for that. I'm going to go ahead and put my slag on here as well, and we'll just see. Let's see here. We're buying for 0.65. There's quite a bit there. I'm going to go ahead. What's it being sold for? 0.6, 0.5. I'm going to go ahead and sell mine for 0.02, I guess. Although that doesn't... No, I'm just going to go ahead and sell mine for 0. And then anyone can take it up to the Insta Slag or Insta Crush, whatever it is, and that can be purchased. So let's see here. We want steel to be there. We'll go ahead and drop those back in as well. There we go. And we'll move these out, and then pull our steel bar, or our iron bars over there, so we've got plenty of storage. Alright, perfect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Hopefully this has been informative and helped to settle some of the debate. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Ta-ta.